Hey, friends. Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? I am seeing a little error message on my side, and I don't know if you guys are seeing that as well. What it's doing is not letting me see the chat. So I don't like that. Um, and I don't exactly know how to alleviate it. So let me see if I can take a look while we're here and see if there's anything that I did not check or something. Okay. Do 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 do. And I am looking. I am looking. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but then I don't know if you guys can see this. And it's very important. Oh, right here. Um, uh, well, I know what I'll do. Let me grab my phone and see what I can see. So, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to week 3 of the break room. And I don't know about you, but I'm so excited every time I get a chance to pop on here and talk to you guys. And the topic today is one that when I was preparing for this, I was like, man, I can relate so much. And then I was thinking, oh, dude, how vulnerable do I get? How much do I tell of my personal experience with this topic? Identifying your sprinting triggers. So, what that is talking about, if it's not obvious, is oh, hold on, let me see here. Yeah. What that's talking about is this idea of what does it look like when we are um just before, or what makes us get off and running. We sprint off, and here's an example. And I guess I'm going to have to tell it in order to um be very to get the point across. I'm gonna have to tell what I was wondering if I was gonna tell. So the whole thing is, let's see. I'm gonna do a little test though first. Test. Um, okay, so I will just keep that out because I can see the chat on my phone, even though it's not letting me see it on my screen, on my big screen where I'm talking to you guys. But anyway, so the question of the day, that let me say that in its entirety, and then let's see if that helps to set it up for this what I'm talking about today. So the question is, what is the specific trigger that makes you feel like you need to start sprinting? So, is it an email? Is it a particular meeting? Is it a particular person? What is it that happens that kind of gets you in that ready, set, go kind of mode? Maybe it actually you jump into it's not fight or flight, but you know that feeling of fight or flight, like what you feel in your body, that here we go, is the anxiousness. Or maybe you're not anxious, maybe it is literally adrenaline that you're feeling rush through your body, and boom, here we go, we're off, let's kill it, let's get it, let's do this thing. What is it that happens? What is it that takes place for you to get to that space, right? And sometimes once we hit that, we're on it. We don't come off of it. We don't come off of it uh for the day. We may not come off of it for a week. um, what is it that makes that happen for you? So, like, as I was thinking about all of this, I really was like, something I used to do, and it's really sad. That's why I'm hesitating. Something that I used to do that I would make myself that no one ever asked me to do. Let me just preface that is literally be 24 access on my phone. I was 24 access either by text or phone calls. And if you've known me for a long time, I don't necessarily ever have the volume on my phone on. I don't because it's always with me and I always have it. So if I'm not near my phone or if I'm not answering or able to respond, it usually legitimately is there's a reason why I'm not. So I saved myself in my nervous system of hearing that ding, 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 ding all day long because it, people, you know what I'm talking about. If you have notifications on your social media, if you get text messages from family, or friends or, if you have text messages or notifications on your emails, with sound, anything like that, it can literally be constant, constant. So my answer to this as far as, like, was it an email, a meeting, or a person? It literally could be all 3, but the thing that my confession is about is my lack of separation from that device that actually connected me to those triggers. And so I would say maybe 2, 3 years ago, maybe it's a little bit longer, but definitely at least 2, maybe 3, I had to tell myself, "Angie, what you're not gonna do is take this to the restroom with you. What you're not gonna do is actually" um I'm laughing on the inside. What you're not gonna do is text people before you're completely dressed for the day. Like you're in the midst of getting dressed, like not getting ready, literally getting dressed. Okay. And I just had this ability at the time to elevate everything to a certain level of importance. Like because I care for people and I want people to feel seen and all of the other things, I just took it a step too far. And I can say that because it was a step too far where I felt like that the phone had to be answered and the text had to be responded to. And emails, not so much instantly, but what it did and built up inside of me, getting those notifications right away was the same kind of feeling as if I had had the communication or if I just responded, all the things. So I just had to recalibrate what I was doing. I had to recalibrate how I was showing up and presenting. And it literally had nothing to do with who else was on the other side of those text, phone calls, emails, or anything like that. Because if we're telling the truth about these situations, when we do these things and respond to these triggers in that way, our first instinct might be to be upset with the person who's on the other end of the thing. Like, I can't believe that they texted me, or I can't believe that they da 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 at this time, or whatever. I usually don't feel that way, but that's a natural experience to have. And so I'm sharing that because that's a natural response. I can't believe they did that. Well, in the day and age that we live in, most people can choose when they are receiving or hearing notifications. So maybe people, and I know people like this, and I kind of tend to do it myself. Maybe what's happening is they are sending messages, um, making those little voice memos or calling or whatever when they remember because they're doing the stacking thing too. So maybe they're afraid that they're going to lose that. So they just go ahead and get the information out of themselves and out to the people that they feel like it's important for them to hear them. What I'm saying is, even with that, we're not responsible for when they are doing it. We are responsible for when we receive it. So, what I did by essentially having and creating an environment of 24 hours a day access, I created a level of expectation from the people that I do business with, the people that I have family with, my friends. I created a level of expectation that they got used to it. They got used to me being there on the other end of that text, call, email, whatever it was, and there's nothing wrong with that either. I set the stage for it, but we also can set and reset our stage, right? We can reset what that looks like without diminishing care, without diminishing value of the people that we're engaging with, or the item, or list thing, what is on the checklist today, doesn't have to be less important just because you're choosing to wait until you're actually dressed for the day before you start engaging. And for some other people, it may be more than just getting dressed. Like, there are other things that people do in the morning. You have a morning routine, and maybe what you do is build a morning routine if you don't have one that allows you to prepare for your day before your day starts got kind of pulling you in, which would be beautiful. I've heard a few people recently talk about this whole idea. It's a childhood thing that we learn, but they do it still as adults because it's part of their morning routine, and it helps set their mental state. And that is making your bed. Now, when we were growing up, your mom was like, make your bed before you go, or your dad, make that bed before you go to school or before you come in and have breakfast. It could be different for each person. And later it becomes a setting up thing, is setting yourself up for the day. And yeah, I was one of those kids that I don't want to do that. I mean, I did it most of the time, but seriously, when I got to the age of, gosh, I don't know, somewhere in my teens, somewhere, mom just gave up telling me that, and just like it got bad. She was like, listen, what I'm not going to do is look at that mess in there. So why don't you just keep your door closed if you can't keep your room clean? And I thought that was a good thing for a hot minute. I thought that was cool. Not so much anymore. I know, I get it. I mean, I'm still a little clutter bug, if I'm real honest, in certain areas. Like my desk, it gathers things, and then I usually have to pause and do a clean sweep and reorganize and da 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 da, back at it again. It's I've heard something also once, that your room, or how you keep your things like clutter, it kind of is a reflection of what is going on inside your brain. When I heard that, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I like to collect a lot of things up here." But I also need to be disciplined to pause, to order them out and put them in certain places, so that one, I can find what I need to find. Actually, I don't have a problem finding. I know exactly where I've put things, but if somebody else had to find it, that would be a problem. That'd be a problem. So, anyway, yes, thinking through that. So, some key things to think about when we're wanting to address, or even to identify, hone in on those sprinting triggers, and you guys can share them. If you know what yours is, or what they may be, or if it's just one, if you know what it is, share it in the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. What kind of gets you off and running, uh, in an alert kind of way. Like, oh my gosh, like there you go. And yeah. Anyways, I'm just having a little flashback in my head of some moments that I was doing stuff like that. But anyway, some key points to think about. You want to recognize the physical signs in your body when you're right before you're approaching a season of this, because if it's just a one off, that's not a big deal. But if you're living like this, you are headed for burnout for sure. So you want to recognize what those signs look like in your body, holding your breath. And I mean that, like, literally holding your breath. Like, do you pause long enough to see that, "Oh my gosh, I haven't really taken a deep cleansing breath in so long. I love that they're teaching kids that kind of thing these days. It's a self-regulation kind of tool, but we can sometimes go a long time without realizing that we've been doing that, holding our breath essentially, right? So recognizing the patterns in your body when you're hitting one of those triggers, okay, or just approaching it. Discovering like your patterns. Do you know the patterns that are leading up? So identifying the recurring scenarios that cause you to maybe step away from your strategy that you have in place, or that goal of strategy that you have in place. You want to have a plan. This is so good. You want to have a plan for how you handle moments of urgency, right? Kind of think that through. What are your gonna what's gonna be the steps that you take to handle seasons of urgency and times of urgency, okay? Because if you have a plan, then you will know what it looks like when you're not on plan, and you can self-correct a little easier, okay? And then last, you want to learn to pause with yourself, okay? Learn to pause with yourself before saying yes to a new task, even within a workspace, a job, something that you do on the regular. Learning how to intake new tasks, learning that as a team, learning that sitting down if you are getting marching orders from somebody above you, learning how to sit down and take the information that's coming, flush it through the filter of what's going on, prioritize, use all the things that you're hired on to use. Like there's a piece of this thing where we're expected to look at the big picture in front of us and rearrange and accordingly, right? But if that is a small window, or if that is a small line that you're working with there, uh, sit down with your direct report and ask for, hey, how can we how is it going to be best for us to sit and discuss when I've reached that overload? What does it look like? Not how, what is the best way for me to communicate this back to you so that we can move forward? Because there has to be this communication that there is a place of, because just because you're good at juggling, and just because you're good at receiving and moving and all of that, it doesn't mean that it's everlasting and that there's no endpoint. Everyone has a cap. So understanding what it looks like to navigate those things and discuss those things before you get to it is most ideal. Because then no one's fishing, no one's having to figure out if this is connected to something else that's going on in your life, or if this is a failing in any kind of way. Just discuss it up front. But if you're already in and you've already kind of been doing these things, then you just kind of ask for, hey, can we have a sit down and discuss? I'm working through some things on how I'm reordering my ability to attempt all my tasks. I'm doing great. Everything's looking good. But what I'd like to do is set a time with you so that we can discuss what it looks like and what our next steps are when I have reached capacity. Okay, have that capacity conversation. So your homework today is your call to action homework, whatever you want to call it. I want you to identify your top 3 sprinting triggers. What are your top 3 sprinting triggers? What gets you going? And then share at least one of them with a trusted peer, somebody in your community, or share it in our chat. I'd love to hear that in the community chat. Share, what are your 3 triggers that send you going, send you running. Hopefully, you're not answering texts before you're dressed. Yeah, I'm just actually, as I said that, some other memories just popped in my head that I won't share. But anyways, I was doing too much. I was doing too much. But I think that that's our chat for today. Unless you guys have something you want to share, I'm here, drop in the chat if you have questions, comments. It's open. Again, it's open all week long. Share this information, share the break room with your friends, invite them in, say, "Hey, what you got going on?" I am trying to keep it under 30 minutes. So even if someone can pop on for the first few minutes because they only have a break, invite them on in, and then, of course, the videos are available after we're done as well. And then, if this is not enough and you want more, sign up for my Patreon. It's the Break Room Plus, $7 a month to be a part of that. You get one-on-one coaching opportunity a month, I think once a month, a one-on-one opportunity to have some time with me. We'll do some more deep dive discussions. I also have some activities in there for you guys in the Break Room Plus. All right. We'll see you next week. Have a great one. Bye, y'all.